Ladies and gentlemen, as Jump Space just continues to get better and better, they just released their largest update to date, their first major update in a long list of major updates to come. What am I talking about? Jump Space is a four-player co-op sci-fi space shooter, most akin to Sea of Thieves, but in space. And like I said, they just released an awesome new update. And we're going to break down everything that just came out. It came out on Monday. Really would have liked to have made you guys a video on Monday, but I had to go to work like a good little duck, I guess. I'm going to be reading directly from the patch notes and what the devs had to say here. I'm going to be mixing in some of my thoughts. There are some things, such as they touched on the inventory system. I'm not going to get into too much of a rant about that here, but I will make a separate video because I have a lot of thoughts about the inventory system and how I think it can be salvaged. But jumping into it, this is the vendor update. Boz and Vosk now will sell various gear and artifacts for credits. They showed this off last week, I believe it was, or if not the week before. And what this does is it allows you to prep for your journey. They have different things such as materia, repair kits, um, things like that laying on their desk, and you can come up, spend your credits. You don't have to add them to your inventory. You just select it, queue it, spend your credits, and when the mission starts, it will be added onto your ship. That way, you don't have to worry about your inventory being full before the mission even begins. Very nice system. If you run over to the excuse me, the shooting range, you will see that there is now an armory. The weapons will be for sale. They drop various marks, all random. Them and the artifacts, as well as the items, all refresh every time you enter the hangar. So they can roll randomly. You're never going to run into the same things time after time. A lot of variation there. I think it's a solid start for the inventory system in general. And I think it's a great addition to the game because it adds that kind of layer of strategy of, hey, what do I want to bring in with me before the mission starts that will give me the best edge to get a strong start in the mission rather than having to just scavenge from the get-go. So they got 8 new sectors. They talk a little bit here. The next paragraph is about players and loot, weapons. I'm going to save that to the end. If you guys want to hear my thoughts about that, I'll talk about that at the end. So I'm going to skip that for now. We're going to talk about the 8 new sectors. You're going to encounter new maps as you play the new update. Let us know what you think. Speaking of missions, short, medium, and long mission lengths now generate all mission types. So this means you're going to have more variety in your mission lengths as well as giving you more options. They added the sector modifiers, a brand new mechanic. Once you enter the mission, sectors will now spawn with different modifiers, and this is going to include introduce challenges and new rewards. And it's going to make picking your path to the end and your final objective more interesting. There's going to be more risk reward involved. The new 8 modifiers include Materia Remnants, Ion Rift, High Legion Presence, Weapon Stash. I think that one sounds particularly interesting. It sounds like they may spawn more frequently there, or perhaps you'll be able to intercept like a Corvette of some sort and loot their weapon stash. That would be pretty cool. And we have incoming Legion ships. Interested to find out how that would change from what we have currently. I think, and I know the update's already out. I just haven't got a chance to get my hands on it personally yet. But such is life when you have a job and kids, you know? I do plan on playing that as soon as possible. But as I was saying, I wonder if the incoming Legion ships perhaps could be like a massive fleet of incoming ships and they treat it kind of like a disaster, like an asteroid storm, where you really want to warp out of there before they get there. That would be interesting. We have the Materia Disruption Field, the Supply Beacon, and another very interesting one, Unknown Threat. That's very interesting. I'm excited to kind of jump in and hope to encounter that modifier. I wonder what that could be. They said, let us know if you like this mechanic and what other modifiers that we can create. Moving on from there, we're going to talk about one of the more exciting features in the game. I was really excited about this when it got announced. Melee weapons. My good friend Hawk54, I will link his channel down in the description. He actually gave me a heads up of the newest melee weapon that was added. We already knew about the industrial wrench and the crowbar, but the heat blade was also added. All three of these weapons look really cool. They function really cool. The heat blade in particular, I am most excited about. I probably will run heat blade as long as I can. I really like the iron belt, but I may put the iron belt to the side for a little while in favor of the heat blade that way, because the inventory is kind of limited. You can only hold 4 items, and I think the heat blade is going to be a lot of fun to play around with. All three of these weapons have a parry system and can redirect the Legion's bolts back at them. The heat blade in particular has the best accuracy when doing so. Makes you feel more like a samurai space samurai / Jedi. So that's going to be really cool. The dart has some improvements because, and I fly around the dart mostly. I think it's a really fun ship. So I've experienced these frustrations, but it says, we've heard your feedback about the dart ship being frustrating to navigate in the heat of battle. To address this, we've added hatches on the inside, top and bottom that will very easily let you teleport back and forth so you can retrieve materia and fix components. Massive change. I don't think I could understate enough how much of a massive change this is. I can't tell you how many times I'm in a dogfight and on harder difficulties in the dart, and I need to restore shields, and it's just such a hassle to have to grab my shield kit, run around the corner, jump out of the ship, turn around, grapple, then repair the shield. It's just so time consuming. And when you're in the heat of battle, especially on higher difficulties, you're going to get killed. So this is a very appreciated change. I really look forward to trying it out for myself. Moving on from there, we have the Halloween event. It's spooky season, everybody. And even in the furthest reaches of the galaxy, between now and November 10th, you will be able to enjoy the Halloween decorations around the hangar and have a special quest given by Boz. Bring back enough pumpkins from your missions and get the jack-o'-lantern cosmetic. It looks pretty sick. I've heard a couple people mention that they thought the game was a little bit too serious and they wanted to add some of that silliness / fun factor in there. I personally, this is not really my thing. I think it looks cool, but it's not going to be something I'm going out of my way to get. I appreciate that they're kind of, including it for people who may be interested in it. I definitely want to see more holiday events, so that is for sure. The supporter pack, also something I'm really excited about. I don't plan on Steam, I play on Xbox, but this just looks so fantastic, guys. And it is just a cosmetic set. Cosmetic DLC is what they're calling it. $10. It's on Steam, and it's just there if you want to help support the company, Keepsake Games. I cannot recommend this enough. I think it looks fantastic. Comes with 3 different variations in terms of helmet. I am begging Keepsake Games to add this to Xbox because I will be buying this in a heartbeat. It looks fantastic. They went on to talk more about adding changes and stabilities, particularly when it comes to Xbox. Definitely, I can tell a huge difference right now on Xbox. Particularly, one of the things that got changed was the browsers. Up until this point, every time I've opened up the browser and looked for a group of people to play with, I haven't been able to find anybody. There's just no browsers. Cannot find them. I'll even set up a browser and set up as a public one, and I don't think anyone can see it on there if they're playing on Xbox. I'll have to go to the social hub on the Xbox screen and go in from there and create a listing to try to find some people to play with. But this changes that, and it feels really good. I hadn't really played, like I said, I hadn't got a chance to play yet. All I've done is run around the hangar, and I got a chance to glimpse at the browser system working on Xbox. Really excited about that. One thing I will say is currently I've been representing both the Xbox community and kind of like the solo player experience when it comes to Jump Space. I look forward to playing with other people, but I still plan to kind of advocate for the solo player experience, just because not everyone's going to be playing with a group. That's one reason why they made the Dart, to make the game soloable. Yes, it's much harder, but I don't want to kind of just stop supporting other people who may be playing solo. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about inventory. Like I said, I'm going to make a separate video, give my entire thoughts about it. But they did bring it up, and they said, hey, we hear you guys' concerns that you think the inventory system is too restrictive, and you don't like losing your Mark III weapons. That doesn't feel good. They mentioned that they may be going down a path of adding the ability to customize your weapons and do like a progression system through weapons. I think that's a great idea. The only thing I will say, because they're trying anything they can do to avoid adding a weapon storage system for players, what I will say is if you go that route, you are allowing players to add their personal touch to their weapons, and you are not fixing the problem. You are actively enabling it, because people, once they have that personal touch on their weapons, it's going to be that much more of a problem when they lose their weapons. I have a lot of ideas on how to fix this. I'm going to get into it in my next video. I would love to hear what you guys think. Are you guys excited to play the update? Have you already been playing it? You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. I appreciate you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the stars.